Hey everyone, in front of the camera here I have the number 48 Improved Trapper by GEC. This is in Tidute cutlery trim. So we have the standard Tidute cutlery sticker that we're used to seeing with GEC. This is not a special factory order or anything, so there's no sticker on the back. On the top we will look at the model number, which is a number 48, 8 for muskrat clip main blade, 2 for 2 blades, 17 for 2017, and the cover material on this is Bloodwood. Get an idea of what makes this the Improved Trapper. I'll take out a case mini trapper, and so they both retain that same dogleg style handle, and they both have 2 blades that pivot on the same end. The difference is a typical trapper we have a clip point main blade and a spay blade second main blade, because they're about the same length. On the number 48 Improved Trapper, we're still looking at a clip point main blade, but the secondary main blade on an Improved Trapper is a Wharncliffe. So it's pretty neat how you get a full-size Wharncliffe and full-size clip point on this. Fit and finish on this is typical GEC. Really can't find anywhere that it's catching between the transitions of the bolsters and the covers. Really hasn't been able to detect any kind of gaps in the back springs or between the liners and the covers. And this is kind of what you expect from GEC. Back spring termination on this is also very well done. Another thing that GEC does very well. So take a look at that. Overall, this is a great looking knife. Some people don't really like the Improved Trapper because when you deploy the muskrat clip main, you have this big Wharncliffe hump here and it makes it a little bit of a hot spot. But I would say this is really not meant for extremely hard use tasks. This is kind of meant for some EDC tasks, and it's kind of more of a collector's piece as well, just because it's kind of a unique style. But if you do want to have the capability of having a clip point and Wharncliffe in the same knife, this is definitely the way to go. And when you have the Wharncliffe out, the muskrat clip does not make as much of a hot spot, so this is definitely more comfortable to use with the Wharncliffe. Let's take a look around the knife here. So we have bolsters at the pivot end as well as end cap bolsters. Tidute trim, so the blades here are going to be satin finished instead of mirror finished, and the typical Northfield on Excelled trim. No stampings on the blades, so just plain satin blades. And we have what Great Eastern Cutlery uses for a lot of the Tidute line, which is that kind of bar hot dog shield. Again, the transitions are great. The Bloodwood covers are a little bit lighter than some of the other Bloodwood cover knives that I have. So we have a number 15 Gun Scout here, which has a little bit darker Bloodwood than this number 48. And it's kind of expected when you're using natural materials. You're not going to get the same look throughout every knife. It's a number 85 bullet end jack, so that's a little bit darker as well. So not bad, but that's kind of what to expect when you're looking at this. Now, walk and talk on this is good. The pulls on these blades are about a 6, I'd say. So it's definitely a little bit heavier than a number 15 frame, but it's not as heavy as a number 74, which usually is around a 7 or an 8 on the pull weight. So these are, these are decent. These are good. These are not going to break your nails off, but they're not so light that you don't feel confident, and that doesn't have a good walk and talk. So these are very good. So overall, this is a great knife from Great Eastern Cutlery. I like the idea of having very 2 classic style blades where you have the muskrat clip and you also have the Wharncliffe. So I like the idea of having both those blades and them both being full-size blades, which is really nice. Let's take a look at the back springs when deploying the blades. Of course, when we are closed, both back springs are completely flush, typical GEC. When we open up the muskrat clip, the half stop, we're a little bit proud. That's not a big deal. And when fully open, we're back to completely flush. Nothing new. If you're expecting GEC quality, of course this has GEC quality. The Warncliffe, of course, flush when closed, half stop a little bit proud, and again completely flush when we're open. So very good. Very nice looking knife overall. I really like Bloodwood covers, and I didn't have an improved trapper before, so that's why I went for this. This also came in a single blade clip point muskrat clip, which is called the Weasel, and Northwood's knives also had a few versions as well, but this was the improved trapper, which they've come out with before. So let's take a look here, give you a little bit closer look. Nice looking covers. So let's take a look at the stampings on here. Well, before I get to that, you're not going to really be able to pinch open that muskrat clip because you have the Warncliffe behind it. So this is going to be pretty much a dedicated nail nick for the muskrat clip. For the Warncliffe, because this is Untitled trim, there's no swedge and they're not mirror polished. You can actually get a grip on this to pinch open the Warncliffe, and it still works very well with the nail nick, especially at having that nice about 6 on the scale for pull weight. So let's take a look at the blade stamping. So on the muskrat clip is where we have Untitled Cutlery, made in the USA. When we flip it over here, we're looking at the model number, which is 48, 8 for the main blade, 2 blades, and 2017. Take out the Warncliffe. We're looking at Great Eastern Cutlery, stamped there, and TIW for Titusville Iron Works, and then there's nothing stamped on the other side. Give you an idea of the number 48. Well, let's first look at that muskrat clip, which if you're familiar with clip point blades, the muskrat clip is kind of a clip. The clip part where it starts the clip is more towards the back of the spine. Take out a number 48 Hawthorne jack, or Northwood's Hawthorne jack, still built on the number 48 frame. This is of course a saber ground blade with this heat treat left on the flats. But as you can see, that clip point, the clip starts further up the blade towards the tip of the blade. Give you an idea of the difference. The number 48 frame is about the same length overall when deployed as a number 74. This is number 74 Stallion, of course, Cocobolo. So overall, these are very similar in length overall and blade length when open. Of course, the handles are not as wide on the number 48, and the blade's not as tall, I guess you'd say. So that gives you an idea that these are very similar in size. The 48 the 74. 74 is actually very good in hand. And of course, these have a little bit higher pull weight, but you have more handle to purchase, and you have a bit wider of a blade. Now the number 48, especially when using the Warncliffe, is also still very comfortable. But overall, they're very similar in size. You're just getting a little bit not as wide handle and not as wide blades. And of course, you have a thicker handle on this improved trapper because you have 2 blades on 2 back springs. If you're getting an idea of what a single blade 48 is, here's a Hawthorne jack. So yeah, not much thinner actually. Also have a number 92 Talon This will kind of compare well to the Wharncliffe blade here. The handle length on the Talon is a little bit shorter, and also the blade length is a little bit shorter. So it's smaller than a Talon, the number 48. I mean, it's bigger than a Talon, the number 48 frame. It's closer to the 74. It's just kind of a thinner profile. So if you like having a Wharncliffe and a clip blade, and you want on the same knife, this is the way to go, definitely. Let's take a look at the weight. Of course, because we're operating on 2 back springs. Yeah, the walk and talk on that is good. Of course, because we're operating on 2 back springs, it's going to be a little bit heavier than the single bladed knife. So we have more material. But this still comes in at, what does that say? 2.78 ounces. So still very light compared to the single blade Hawthorne jack, which is still going to be, it's a little bit hard to compare because different cover materials, different blade. That comes in at 2.29 ounces, so it is a little bit lighter than the 2-blade construction, but hey, this is still a very light blade, and it's got great covers. There's also a few different special refractor orders out there, but these in the Bloodwood, I believe, are still available through a few different retailers if you are interested. So if you like this, definitely go out there. These are retailing around $100. So not a bad price for a 2-bladed GEC and very nice Bloodwood covers. So yeah, that's the number 48 Improved Trapper by Great Eastern Cutlery. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. And as always, thanks for watching.